Hello, and welcome to American Crossroads. I'm Jeff Barnes. Just taking care of a little building project here. Cutting through the clutter. Nailing down some ideas. I am creating my very own platform of pragmatic plain talk. I'm getting on my soapbox, and we're inviting you to do the same.
Importantly than issues. I think there's so much good happening that we should be aware of. Importantly than issues.
Like a billion gnats buzzing in the cosmos, a lot of people are already talking. But are they saying what you would say? And who's listening?
But right now, the big issue is about our bodies.
Immigration is a big issue.
Education.
A lot of people don't have adequate health care.
Comprehensive immigration reform.
International aid.
That's what's important to me.
Even in this age of satellites and instant information, blogs and BlackBerry, sometimes there just is no better substitute than a good old-fashioned in-person rant, i.e., getting on one soapbox. And where better to extend the invitation to get on their soapbox than right here in Washington, D.C.
I just associated him with the soapbox as a public speaker.
I think the candidates are not really doing exactly what they should be doing. And he said politics is a war without any bloodshed.
It's kind of like the better of two evils argument.
I want to vote for the candidate who has kind of the same belief system that I have. Obama has not really seemed to come clear with that issue.
Both candidates are going to throw away our money, so.
It's a pity when you see that most parents don't really care what goes on in their child's school. It's giving a wrong idea to these young kids. I understand they need an incentive, extra motivation to be able to go to school.
It's going towards alternative fuels, which I don't even really know if that's a valid alternative. Loss in fuel economy as well. Like in Ohio in particular, we use a lot of coal. You're not gonna get away from coal because that's gonna turn a bunch of people out of jobs.
Well, I'm just out here making some music, playing a little classical and gospel music. It's funny you asked me about the bailout. I almost lost my business. I think they should be more wiser in the decisions that they make.
It's like corporate welfare. Why should they do it for corporations if they're not going to do it for individuals?
It's like paying someone who is not doing his job.
My money going towards helping a corporation that's laying off people.
I feel privileged. I mean, that's part of our Constitution to have free speech. I think everybody has to make up their mind what they believe in and have a right to what they believe in.
Certainly the soapbox is our sentimental favorite for grassroots griping. It was the megaphone of its time, but for this particular show, I have the real thing. Now, even with all this, we're pretty sure our esteemed federal leaders really aren't hearing us, and we're pretty sure it's not just the proximity or the volume either. Morris Jones shows us one woman who's taken her concerns right to the White House, or as close as she can get.
People have to wake up.
The longest-running White House protester.
Freedom, justice, and equality.
Since August of 1981, 27 years, Concepcion Picciotto has been camped on the sidewalk in Lafayette Park, right across from 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. Is anybody listening to you?
People does. The government here, no.
Her English may be hard to understand. Concepcion is from Spain.
They will in peace, not in pieces.
But her message is clear: stopping wars and nuclear weapons.
Anyone in the world today, any human being, has the right to stand up to protect the entire planet.
Concepcion says she worked at the United Nations in New York in 1979 and became disillusioned with corruption. She's cynical of both political parties and whoever happens to be president at the time. What does it feel like to be in front of the White House every day for more than 20 years?
I feel like that's like a mausoleum. Dead people.
Like a mausoleum?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because people in there are not having human feelings.
As policymakers and the press have written Concepcion off as a crank, she's a celebrity for tourists who see her for the first time.
One Korea, one country, and one people.
What tourists may not know, Concepcion is homeless, living in a tent at her protest site or staying at shelters. Does she get discouraged?
No, I'm not. I'm not. At the contrary, the more they do, the more they lie, I get more strength.
Concepcion says she has no plans to retire and promises to be here in front of the White House when yet one more administration takes office in January. I'm Morris Jones, American Crossroads.
I don't have any great faith in Congress, so I think the less they're around meeting, the better.
Which brings us to our Crossroads question. Do you think Congress is getting the job done? I'm sorry. Go to our website to vote and see the results at AmericanCrossroads.tv. Well, now that the election season is here, there's a lot of people in Congress calling the media a bunch of liars. Well, let me tell Congress something. You can't handle the truth. Folks, we live in a world that has lies, and those lies have to be guarded by men and women with laptops and television cameras. Who's going to do it? You? You, Nancy Pelosi? You, Harry Reid? I have a greater responsibility than you can possibly fathom. You weep for yourselves, and you blame the media. You have that luxury. You have the luxury of not knowing what I know, that my existence, while grotesque and incomprehensible to you, says the truth. You don't want to know the truth because deep down in places you don't talk about at parties, especially in Georgetown, you want me on this tube. You need me on this tube. We use words like honor, code, loyalty. We use those words as a backbone in a lifetime spent defending something. You use them as a soundbite. I have neither the time nor the inclination to explain myself to a U.S. Congress who rises and sleeps under the very freedom blanket that I provide on the air and then questions the matter in which I provide it. I would rather you just said thank you and went on your way. Otherwise, I suggest you pick up a TV camera and stand the post. Either way, I don't give a damn what you think you are entitled to.
I think that we need to stand together and we need to talk to the government. I think we need to definitely voice our opinions. If anyone out there is with me, hey, let's meet up somewhere. You'll find me on the internet, I'm sure.
Are you comfortable? Isn't it a beautiful day out today? Oh, and these days people are finding their voice by typing. Blogging has become the soapbox of the 21st century. Megan McCorkle now reports on the keyboard culture of opinion.
They told their life story.
In his younger days, Pat Thibodeau dreamed of reporting for a newspaper.
I always wanted to be a newspaper journalist. You know, I was on my college newspaper, and then my first job was, working for less than what they pay for a 7-Eleven.
Today, he's still reporting in a whole different forum. Pat runs the DC Blogs website, a directory of the web logs written by DC area residents.
In all the major metro areas, I think there are huge and vast blogging communities.
And lawmakers are starting to listen up.
I think a lot of it's read by the decision makers. They keep track of it, they know what the communities are saying, and they are becoming more influential over time.
Pat started DC Blogs about 4 years ago. Today, the site includes hundreds of blogs, ranging from serious subjects like neighborhood crime to the more humorous.
They'll just take a photograph of, say, some lawn ornament and write, "Isn't this ugly?" and there'll be 30 comments of people all commenting on it.
Bloggers on the site coming from all walks of life.
And there's a lot of people in the Hill who write, all the public relations firms and all the trade association groups. Our secret goal here is to help you rob as many hours from the federal government as possible, so people just write on their blogs here.
Observation, opinion, thousands literally thinking out loud. The common medium helping to make a big city seem a little smaller.
It humanizes the whole city. I mean, you look at this and you just start reading through this, and all of a sudden, you don't see people on the streets of the city anymore. You see bloggers.
In Washington, I'm Megan McCorkle.
I see people every day just littering. That's a really big thing with me, is littering. And I just don't understand it. It's like, pick it up,
Coming up on American Crossroads. With so many people talking, who's listening?
Ooh, you can dance, you can jive.
Meet one man who really has no choice, but thankfully for him, the meter's running.
Watch that scene, dig in the kings and queens.